Hello and welcome to Positively United on Tuesday the 24th of February 2026, and in this video I want to pick out the 5 lessons I think we can learn from United's victory at Everton last night. A 1-0 win, a gruesome game in many ways. An awful lot of quality was just simply stamped out by, I think, Everton's tactics of wanting to turn the game into kind of like scrappy chaos. We certainly saw that with all those corners in the second half. But we're to blame as well because we were unable to counteract that. We were unable to impose our will on the game. And so it's not just Everton, it's us as well. It takes two to tango and it takes two to play a football match. And we both contributed to the unedifying spectacle that game turned out to be. I mean, we often pride ourselves in England that we've got the best domestic football league in the world. Do you think that was a good advert for it last night? I don't think it was. And in all fairness, I don't think the game against West Ham that we played either was good. I mean, the first half against West Ham was worse than anything we saw last night. But those corners in the second half were just terrible. It was an awful advert for English football. Although it did give Le Mans a fantastic opportunity to show his worth. So let's have a look at the 5 lessons that I think we can take from yesterday's game. The first, of course, is about Le Mans, and it's about his quiet confidence. I thought he was tremendous yesterday. I made him his man of the match. I think I've seen that most people have made him man of the match, and deservedly so, because he was absolutely superb. In that second half, he came in for a barrage of physical abuse. Everton would quite happily have pushed him in the back of his own net. They did it with Lenny Yoro. And it turned into a rugby match. And he did not let it affect him at all. And he never looked flapped or in trouble or lacking in confidence or self-belief. He had 2 really good saves in the match. He came out for crosses and claimed them with supreme confidence. He imposed himself, actually, in a quietly confident way on that ruck and maul, which was all those corners. I think I might have mentioned it yesterday. I think of 2 goalkeepers in my time watching United who have excelled, and that's Schmeichel and Van der Sar. Very different characters. Schmeichel, noisy, vocal, always shouting at the back 4 in front of him, particularly the 2 centre-backs. Pallister and Bruce, for example, constantly arguing with them, shouting at them, telling them what they were doing wrong, the wrong position they were in, all that kind of stuff. Constant noise, constant presence, constant personality. Van der Sar, much less so. But his authority came from his just superb positioning, his unquestioned abilities, his unflappability. 2 very different characters. I see Le Mans in that sort of like Van der Sar role. It was quite interesting that Van der Sar was one of the co-commentators or one of the pundits on Sky last night, and able to comment on what he was seeing. I don't think it's over-egging it to say Le Mans is in that kind of league, or potentially, I should say, is in that kind of league. Probably not there yet, but he is a fantastic goalkeeper in the making. We got him for, I think, £19 million. The figure varies depending on whether you're looking at in euros, dollars, or pounds, and which source you look at. But let's say 20 million. That is the bargain of the season. Amazing. And to think that we were going to get Martinez if Ruben Amorim had his way. Le Mans is a much better goalkeeper. Outstanding performance, outstanding goalkeeper. What a purchase. The second lesson we can learn. Šeško to the rescue yet again. So that's now really vital goals against Fulham, against West Ham, against Everton. He's certainly a goal scorer, and he looks the part. He can take a goal brilliantly. But surely his pace... Well, I was going to say his patience must be running thin. Actually, it doesn't. He looks like he's supremely self-contained about his position at the moment, where he's not getting a regular start at all. If I was him, I'd be very impatient. I'd be wanting to play from the start. And surely the game at home to Crystal Palace this weekend has got to be the game where he starts. He really, really deserves it. I think Palace is probably a good game for that to happen, because the way that they are at the moment and the position they're in the league, I should imagine not getting beaten is probably going to be the height of their ambition. And therefore we might suffer from the same sort of problems that we've suffered against West Ham and Everton last night. And Šeško has been the key that's unlocked a door both times. The equaliser against West Ham, when it looked like we were hardly likely to score. And last night, beautifully taken goal. In all fairness, we've got to big up the other actors in it. He won't get an assist, but he should have got an assist. Cunha's long ball, the switch across from one side of a pitch to the other to Mbeumo. Mbeumo beautifully controlled, took his time, knew the right ball to play, played it brilliantly into the path of Šeško. And Šeško still had a lot to do and did it brilliantly. Really cool-headed finish. But it's Šeško who 3 games on the trot now has made the difference, and 2 games on the trot has unlocked a really, really difficult defence. He deserves to play from the start in the next game. Third lesson. A lack of creativity. I've put a question mark after this because it seems almost strange to even suggest it. How can we have a lack of creativity? We've got players like Mbeumo, Ahmad, Cunha, Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, Mainu. Surely we've got creativity. We've got creativity all over the place. But 2 games in a row now, against West Ham, against Everton, we've shown a distinct lack of creativity in breaking down a determined defence. Now, I think there were 2 different styles of defence. I think West Ham was genuinely low block. That first half was pure attrition. Everton was a different game last night. They had ambition. They did want to progress forward. But for whatever reason, we could not make clear-cut chances, and we couldn't get behind their lines, and we couldn't pass through their lines. So what's the problem? I don't know. That's why I put the question mark against it. I think it's more than just the individuals. There's something about our mentality or the way we play. And it's been going on for years now. This isn't just a Carrick issue. Is it the way that people line up against Manchester United? I can't believe it is. Because I can understand if it was the way they lined up against United 15 years ago when United won everything. But it's no longer that United. So it's a real dilemma, this one. It's a real perplexing conundrum. Why is it that United can't show creativity when they've got superbly creative players and have played multiple formations and they still don't seem to be able to break through against teams like West Ham and Everton? Question is, they've got to do it. United might finish 3rd this season, which is a very, very creditable position, but they will not finish 1st in the Premiership if they can't regularly and habitually break down teams who don't want to lose. We need to make them lose, and that needs creativity. It's something really that Carrick ideally needs to noticeably address in the remaining games that he has before the end of the season. Next, no midfield options, which might be a factor in number 3, the lack of creativity. You know what? Even if we'd wanted to substitute either Mainu or Casemiro, and I think Casemiro was ripe for a substitution last night. I thought he had a disappointing game. We've got nobody to bring on. You know, neither of the Fletcher brothers really, with all fairness to them, can you trust them? Are you going to rely on them to come in to a game like that with, say, 20 minutes to go? Tyler Fletcher maybe, and maybe it's time to start trusting him. But it's not Ugarte, is it? We probably should have pulled off Casemiro yesterday because it wasn't working for him, but we had nobody to bring on in his place. And the lack of midfield options is something we should have addressed in January. I'll be critical of this club when it needs to be, and I'll criticise them for not taking a player, for example on loan, in January to give us more options in midfield. I hope to God that does not come back to bite us. But last night, it really did show how few midfield options we have, because we should have made a substitution, because we should have shaken things up, because things were not working for us in defensive midfield. And then finally, third place is up for grabs. No question about it. With the results as they've gone for us this weekend, third place is a definite possibility. Now, my test for Carrick is qualification for Europe, either Champions League or Europa League. I've always said he should be held at the same standard as Amorim, and we would have been delighted if Amorim's team had qualified for the Europa Cup, the Europa League. Never mind the Champions League. So qualifying for Europe is important. But just imagine if we qualify for Europe in third place. Just imagine the confidence boost that would be going into next season. I think it'd be a real statement. I really do. And I hope we can do it. I don't think Aston Villa are going to get any better between now and the end of the season. In fact, I think it's going to go in the opposite direction for them. I think they were always punching above their weight. The data showed it. They were punching above their weight, and I think it's now beginning to show. I think it's up to us. If United can put results together, maybe solve or try to solve that lack of creativity problem, breaking down teams that don't want to be beat, I think third place is absolutely there for the taking. And I think we'll be disappointed if we don't do it. So do it. Anyway, those are my 5 lessons from the game yesterday against Everton. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you like the channel, please subscribe. If you've got a friend who you think would admire what we do on this channel, let them know about it and try and persuade them to subscribe too. Follow the channel on X. The link is in the description. If you want to contribute to the channel in any way, any small donation would be gratefully received for upping the technology, the graphics, and promoting the channel. There's a coffee account. Again, the link is in the description. But until, hit the bell, because that will let you know when a new video is coming out. But until next time, remember to always be positively united.